The Selfish Podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land and waters that this podcast is recorded on.
Everything that we discuss on The Selfish Podcast with Chloe and Steph is for informational purposes only. It's either our own experiences, opinions and insights or our guest. It's not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice and should not be relied upon as health or personal. It's time to prioritise yourself and your well-being. Subscribe now and get ready to put yourself first with The Selfish Podcast.
Hey beautiful people, welcome back to the next episode of the Selfish Podcast with Chloe and Steph. Very excited to be here once again. We had a brilliant episode last week with the wonderful Amy Lea.
We sure did.
Yeah, chatted to us about all things astrology. And this week we've got coming up talking about the year ahead in astrology. But Steph, there's something that I want to hear about from you because it follows, well, you were inspired by our chat with Amy about a sort of bodywork.
Yes.
So what happened over the weekend?
Well, it was a big weekend. It was a big week actually because we had the chat with Amy and we are, speed demons with turning these things around. So we thought we spoke to her earlier in the week. We put out that episode that week. I actually then had an astrology reading with another astrologer later in the week.
Wow.
And then I felt like, so Huey did his back over Christmas and I've been doing a lot of the physical heavy lifting with Fred and everything else and just, being responsible for a lot of the house things, which normally Hugh does. Yes. And the household stuff as well. Yeah, Huey definitely punches above his weight with all of that kind of stuff.
I love that. Huey.
Yeah, Huey's amazing.
We give Huey lots of shout outs on here.
He does get a few, doesn't he?
Yeah, poor old Auntie.
Well, no, Hugh's not listening anymore. So we can talk. Oh, exactly. Yeah, so we can talk whatever we need to.
If we wanted.
Yeah, we would never do that. But so I was feeling achy, and I sort of had a bit of a breakdown during the week, and I was like, and Hugh's book a massage, just book something in. So we had been talking about Ka Huna when you did it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And then on the pod, Amy said that her favourite thing to do for herself was bodywork. And then when you probed her a little bit more, she said it was also Ka Huna. So I thought, well, the Ka Huna gods are talking to me, goddesses, and maybe I'll do that. So I went on to the same practitioner that you went to. I went onto her website. She happened to have a booking open on the Saturday. So I was like, book it in.
I couldn't believe that when you said, I'm in for Saturday. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I'd been chatting to her before about booking it in. And anyway, it just was easy. It was meant to be. And it was quite a hot day down here on the Saturday. It was 30 degrees.
Yes.
Where it hasn't been that warm. So I was texting Chloe beforehand being like, what do I wear?
Okay, and Steph sends me this photo. She's obviously laying on the couch, which is so good.
Yeah, I was just laying on the couch.
And she's in these denim, not hot pants, but shorts.
And
a nice kind of lightish t-shirt by the books. And she's like, is this okay? I'm like, no. And
Fred had just gone over his nap.
Can you tell us why that wouldn't be okay? Sorry.
Yeah, so I got changed into more of a yoga style outfit. But yeah, I won't go into the ins and outs of it because we covered it on an episode, and we can recommend you to go back to our Ka Huna episode, which would have been in season 1 of the show. But yeah, we can put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
But essentially, I did the 2-part, which one is the body, the floor work. Polynesian floor work. So fully clothed, but it's essentially a lot of moving your body and really tenderizing almost your body for then the massage. Yeah, and stretching, and it's using a lot of her body. So her feet. It was amazing.
Did she walk on you?
I think so, yeah. I had my eyes closed the whole time.
So did I. And
but I could feel a lot of I was
walks on your back.
Yeah. And all of that, and it's amazing. So a real workout. And then
it's
part
very
of it,
opening.
Yeah. And then part of it she says, I want you to do a deep breath in, and then on the out breath, there's all sorts of movements. So that was probably about 40 minutes. And that was fully clothed. And then we moved to the massage table.
Yes.
Which is when you strip down and then it's oil time, which was lovely. The whole thing.
Another thing, Steph messaged me before. She's like, I should have moisturiser. I was like, no, you're going to be very oiled up now.
Yeah.
The oil is so delicious.
The oil was beautiful. Yeah. It was beautiful. And like the whole experience was just magical.
Oh,
like it was just
totally
divine.
held by divine
I felt
feminine.
so held. I felt so held and so nurtured. And it was like, you know, a mother's touch, like really just embracing you and yeah, just holding you. And so it was, I didn't go for an emotional release. I really went for a physical workup, just because, you know, I had my back and my shoulders and all that kind of stuff. But I still had quite an emotional experience during it. And I did say that to Mia. I said, like, I'm not here for actually like a deep emotional revelation.
Yeah.
But still happened anyway, didn't it? So so when the body work was happening, like again, I try and quiet my mind, but my mind just goes into all of these different places. So what was very interesting is that when she was working on different sides of my body, I was feeling very, very different things.
Yes.
So I wasn't really keeping track of it. But at one point I was basically about to like burst into tears and just like heave.
Yes.
And then we flipped over. So I went from being on my tummy to being on my back. And then all of a sudden, like, it just sort of went away. And it's because she was working on a different side of my body. But then when she went back to that feminine side, I think it was, we worked out afterwards. It was when she was working on the feminine.
Yeah.
Like the feelings I was having and the thoughts that I was having were so vastly different to when she was working on the other side of my body.
Amazing.
And then when we did our bit of a debrief, she said you had a very, very, very defined masculine and feminine. Like it was ridiculous. Like it was crazy how much.
Yeah. So
it was very clear cut. So she felt it too.
Yeah.
And when I was about to burst into tears, she felt that too. She said she was about to burst into tears as well.
No, she's such an empath.
Yeah. And she wouldn't have known that because my body was, or maybe she could see that. But anyway, it was just absolutely amazing.
I think the thing that's so powerful about this bodywork, Ka Huna, is that, I mean, I'm sure it comes down to the practitioner as well, but this practitioner in particular, you feel as one.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like a oneness of the two of you in the session. And I guess that's about being held and that safe space and, you know, allowing yourself to completely open to the experience. But
And I also went away with like a to-do list.
Did you?
So a few topics came up and it was like, you need to talk to them. Like it was like basically this was coming to me. Like, okay, you need to go and do this and you need to do this. And I wrote it down in my phone afterwards because I would have preferred to write it like with a pen because I think I love that hand-heart connection when you're physically writing things. But I was just like, I just need to also get this down. So I just did it on my notes function. And yeah, and then she said to me afterwards, she said at the start of the massage, I did invite your ancestors to come in if they wanted to. And I was like, oh, okay, well that explains that because I did get some really clear action items to do. So yeah, it was just, and the whole day I just felt, I was like floating on cloud 9.
I know. It's a really,
really powerful. And then I pulled, she'd pulled the card for me beforehand. So you got the wolf, didn't you? You did.
I did.
I know you did. I could remember you. I remember you did. You got the wolf because, and then it was about the dancing with the wolves or
the running with the
girl
wolves.
and the wolf.
Yeah. Something. Anyway, the last one I got the beaver, which I was like, this was weird.
Oh, so have you been back to Ka Huna?
Yeah, I've had it twice.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to book in.
I went Christmas Eve.
Oh, did you?
It was a great way to start the festive season.
Oh, that would have been a great way.
It was great. It was really good.
Oh, was it better the second time?
My first time was very emotional. Like I cried after, like in with Mia, and just had a big release, emotional release. And then this next time was not. I was not emotional, but I walked out with a great sense of clarity.
Yeah. Yes, I think
so
that's what I got
each
clarity.
Time you go into, it's whatever you need in that moment, right?
Yep. So I pulled the eagle. Well, she pulled the eagle for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, the eagle and the wolf. Maybe there's like a fable about that. So there you go. But it was amazing. I'm going to book again. I just need to work out what that cadence looks like. I didn't actually ask me what would be a good thing, but I think it's really what works for the individual.
I think monthly to 6
I was going to say,
weekly.
maybe 6 weekly.
Yeah, I think that it's...
Because the Reiki practice, because I'm not, if I think about what I'm actively doing, I'm not doing Reiki actively at the moment. I'm not doing acupuncture actively at the moment. I don't really have much active work.
acupuncture.
Which I think I will get back into, but the practitioner I was seeing down here has just changed her model slightly in terms of she's doing some studying, so she's got less time. And then also with all the travel at the end of last year, I sort of got out of sync.
Whack. Yeah, it's hard to get back in.
It is. Well, once you get spinned off that calendar,
I know
it is really hard to get back in.
Months to get back in.
Yeah, but I feel like the body work is where I need to be right now. So
what's mine? I'm going to book in for Ka Huna again too, and then I'm continuing with my craniosacral therapy, and that's 4 weekly, I think.
I actually did cranio recently. I took one of your your sessions.
How did you feel after that?
Lovely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, really nice.
I really want to go back because my craniosacral does the buccal. That we spoke about with Amy as well. And I've been like massaging my jaw so much lately because I've had my sickness, which we're going to chat about at some point. So I really want to get back in there, and I want her to do that each time I go.
Yeah.
Get in the mouth.
Get in my mouth. Get your hands in there too.
Very odd when you think about it, but it's very great.
It is a little bit odd, but it's I think that's lovely.
Release.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you got in and went and have experienced
it. Me too. Me too. And I feel like what I want, the kinds of work I want done at the moment is like I did really like the CST, but I almost want something that's a bit more like.
You want a bit more
palpable.
Yes. Because you kind of just lay there for craniosacral.
Which is great, but I feel like I just right now
need muscular kind of support too. So do I. Yeah.
So that's where I'll be going.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we will not be talking about Saltburn.
We're not, because
not
I haven't been able to, with my sickness, I haven't been able to watch it over the past week. So
yeah, you need to be in the right headspace. That will be next week.
Will be, and I can't wait.
It'll be next week. Chloe said to me, I'll watch Saltbush. And I was like, no. It's not good, Saltbush. We're not watching the 2000 Sydney Olympics. What about that pole vaulting? Because I think pole vault was fairly new when it was the Sydney Olympics. What about that new sport?
Huh?
I went to do a rewatch with Hugh.
Yes.
And he did not like it.
No, he did
so we stopped watching.
So it's not for everyone.
Not for everyone. I think it maybe is more of a female movie, because I was like, he found it really anxiety inducing. And I was like, I found it titillating.
Yeah.
So very different responses.
So interesting, isn't it?
So interesting.
Okay, I can't wait. I'm excited. How long does it go for? Is it just a movie length?
It's a movie, feature film length.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. Great. Actually, I've come across another one that I want to watch too. Isabel Lucas, do you remember her? I think she was on Home and Away or Neighbours.
Yeah, what about her?
So I just saw that she was on a podcast, and that there's this new film that she's in called Lunacy.
Oh, is it in the cinema?
No, it's on this other kind of streaming channel, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I couldn't really find the streaming channel when I started to look at it, but it is, so it's called Lunacy. It came out in December, and it's all about a film about letting go and self-discovery, exploring what connects us to the innate wisdom that lies at the core of our being. But it looks really cool. It kind of the takes kind of reminded me of that Nicole Kidman film where she microdose everybody.
Oh yeah, the 9 Perfect Strangers. That's actually a TV series.
Oh, TV series.
It's like a limited series, or it might be 9 episodes even. Okay. 9 Perfect Strangers. Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Well, I haven't watched that either, but I should watch that. But anyway, this Lunacy.
Well, when you get a Prime subscription for Saltburn, 9 Perfect Strangers is on Prime.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Lunacy.
Lunacy is another one I think that we should check out. And I can't find exactly where it's streamed on.
I love that. I would love to. I'm going to write that in my diary.
All right.
Lunacy.
Put it down, and I will try and find out where we're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Nowness.
Cool.
Have you heard of that?
Never.
Nowness. That's what it is.
Nice.
Anyway, so a few things for us to look up, and for anyone out there who might be interested to tag along with our watching.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to pull a card.
Yes, did you want to do a quick little astro update? I know that we're going into astro with Amy, but we also have a full moon coming up on the 25th on Thursday, and it's in Leo. So Leo is the regal lion of the zodiac, and it embodies the energies of leadership, compassion, vulnerability, strength, and love. So this full moon in Leo is a time to find what makes you shine your brightest and embrace that part of yourself despite any fear of rejection. It teaches you to love yourself fiercely and let love change the world. So with Leo's energy governing the full moon, we are encouraged to focus on the heart's truth. Acknowledging this takes courage and vulnerability. It's not always easy to listen to and follow our hearts. Our mind often has different plans and will try and convince us that these plans are safer. So this full moon is a time to listen to the heart and follow its lead, even if we're unsure of the road ahead. It's time to feel the guidance of the heart through our emotions and let it give us the answers we've all been looking for along the way. So it's a really great time to find some time to sit with yourself and listen to your heart and feel what you've avoided or shut down. And allow that. Yeah.
It's hard to feel what you've avoided and shut down.
Oh, totally. Heart space to speak its truth.
Lovely.
So that's exciting. Full moon Thursday. And then we've also entered Aquarius season. So that commenced on the 20th of January and we are in this season until the 19th of February. So this season gives us expanded consciousness. So it's a time when we're taken beyond the now and we're able to look at what's to come. So it evokes those sensations of a new wave of evolution.
Cool.
The sign for Aquarius, or the symbol, sorry, is a water bearer. It's an air element and a fixed modality. And the key words for Aquarius is I know. The qualities that an Aquarian has, they are humanitarian, revolutionary, eccentric, and open-minded.
There you go. So yeah, happy birthday to all of our Aquarians out there. So some famous Aquarians, we've got Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Do you know much about Michael Jordan?
No.
No, there's a documentary that I want to watch about Michael Jordan, but I haven't yet. But I watch The Real Housewives, and there's one of the sub-shows is The Real Housewives of Miami. There's a lot of them. And anyway, one of the housewives was married to Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Who was Michael Jordan's teammate. So they were teammates for a lot of time. They had a bit of a rivalry. Anyway, Larsa was married to Scottie, and she's now dating Michael Jordan's son.
That's fucked up.
And they're now on this other reality TV show that I'm watching called The Traders. And if anyone is watching it, please ping me because I would love to talk to you about it. The Traders US. Anyway, so it's so weird. So she's dating her ex-husband's
best friend's son. No, that's not.
Anyway, so Michael. Yeah, I digress. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael Jordan. Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Styles, Chris Rock, Alicia Keys. Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Oprah Winfrey? Yeah. Oprah Winfrey. Christian Bale. He was Batman.
Batman.
Yeah. So there's a few. Elizabeth Olsen, so she's the sister of the Olsen twins.
Oh, not Ashley and... Oh.
Yeah, their sister. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yep. Okay.
Jen Aniston.
Oh, Jen.
Yeah. Bit of Jen.
Love Jen.
I love a bit of Jen too. Jen looks amazing, doesn't she? I don't know what she's doing. I want some of her witchcraft potions.
She's she's next level.
Card pull? Right. Your turn to pull.
Oh, card pull. Yes. Okay.
Now, so before you pull the card, are you what do you say to the cards? Do you say give some guidance to the people and to us?
No.
Or...
No, I do, usually I have, sorry, this time I haven't shuffled prior.
I'll shuffle.
But I guess I will shuffle and then I kind of just tap them 3 times and then I might just inside my head, I don't usually vocalize it out loud, but I might just say, what What do we need to know for the week ahead?
Yeah, okay.
Something
But you're doing it with our listeners in mind as well,
yeah? With the collective.
Yeah, the collective.
Yeah, rather than
I loved that chat with Amy last week about the astrology used in the collective versus the individualistic.
So great.
So we obviously have to listen to the episode back. So we record it and we hear it for the first time with our ears, and then we listen to it when we're editing and then do a sound check. And so both of us listen to the episode twice, or experienced it once and then listened to it again.
Yes.
I've got to say, I got so much more out of it the second listen.
Oh yeah, because we're in the moment.
Yeah.
The time, and you were puffing about a fair bit of it.
What was I doing?
I don't know. You got your book out. You're obviously like trying to learn as Amy was talking. And so this is the book that we've got, everyone. We've talked about it a little bit. The Magic of Eye. And within the Magic of Eye, we shared it on our stories. And I'm thinking that what Steph was, old mate over here, was doing, I'm like trying to eagerly like listen to Amy and seem like a part of the conversation. Old mate over here is like, oh, looking at me, like, not really.
You know what? It's quite confronting. So when we do interviews like that, we do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
So we've got a recorded version of our video, and it's been quite confronting for me looking back and like, because when we're doing the reels and stuff, obviously you see your face. And I'm like, is that what people see when I'm having meetings with them? Like, I just usually just look so unimpressed, and I'm really interested.
No,
I'm
you're
so
listening.
interested.
You've got your listening face.
But my listening face is not really a very welcoming face.
I don't think anyone
Whereas,
does.
but you were always like, like smiley.
Yeah,
and
but I'm that
lovely.
annoying person in the crowd that, like, you know, when you
Makes eye contact.
and I'm like, giving the nods and like, go ahead,
so
keep
good.
going, kind of like the
encouragement.
encouraging.
So were you feeling like that when we were recording with her, that you were having to like be double engaged because I was just like space cadet?
I knew what you were doing. I knew what you were doing. You were trying to like figure out you wanted to find out more.
Yeah. I was trying to play along at home, especially when we started talking about the houses. I'm like, oh, what are the houses?
Being cheeky.
I know, I love it. Okay.
So what have we got for the weekend? And then I just usually like look at the cards and I'll see which one speaks to me, right? Okay. All right. So we have 2 of Wands and the key words, and I pulled it upright as well. So the key words on this one is choice, decisions, first steps, choosing path, future planning in the dark, preparing to leave, comfort zone, should I stay or should I go?
Song about that.
Should I stay or should I go?
Should I stay or should I go?
Great song.
I want to do singing lessons, by the way.
Oh, we don't have the book.
No, the book's not there.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Would you do singing lessons with me?
I've always wanted to do
Yeah,
singing
me
lessons.
too. We should do it.
We should.
Yeah, there's a lady down here who actually used to be an opera singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
God.
Sorry.
I can't even speak because I'm so excited. I want to do dance and I want to do singing.
Okay, what type of dance?
How would I explain it? Feminine?
Yeah. Salsa? Like
Embodied.
No, salsa, I think.
Feminine.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't want to do a partner dance.
No, so just like a...
I follow this chick who is up in like Sunshine Coast Way, and she's just like exactly what I want. But obviously don't live in the Sunshine Coast. So.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
I know what I want. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, you'll know it when you see it.
Haven't stumbled across it down here yet.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
we digress.
Keep you informed, guys. All right, so let's jump into
Part two of our
two.
chat with Amy. And this one's very much about, okay, what is in store for us in the year ahead? What are the major transits that are going on, and how can we maybe lean into that?
Woo. Energy, love it. Enjoy.
So with that, what can we anticipate this year? What have we got?
Yeah. So it will be different for each person, right? Like, so as we know, we all have very different charts. The level of, how things impact us will depend on like where our planets are placed in our chart. So we'll have like slightly different experiences, but collectively, there's a few really big things happening this year. I don't know if you've felt it. Like I've really felt like quite a visceral difference between 2023 to 2024.
Yes.
Like already it's feeling different to me.
For me, it feels, I personally feel lighter.
Yes.
In my energy. I feel like 2023 had a haziness to it, or no, I don't want to say like a heaviness, because, you know, it's not, but
I can
I feel like a lightness this year.
What are you feeling different, Amy?
Yeah, a lightness, and like almost like there's been a big purging and kind of coming out maybe the other side of it. I have a friend who's a really beautiful intuitive, and she's been talking about for the last few years how like 2020 to 2023 were a cycle. And it was all like a very similar quality of energy. And now 2024 to 2026, 2027 is a new cycle, kind of a new quality of energy. And it kind of matches up astrologically, but we have, so the big things we have happening this year, we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, which will be really nice for the cardinal signs. So Capricorns, Cancers, Aries, and Libra, the last 15 years have had Pluto transits, Pluto moving through Capricorn, and maybe not the easiest transits. You know, Pluto can bring a lot of intensity. He can make molehills feel like mountains. So big transformation, you know, but like that's it's definitely a more intense transit to go through. So he's moving into Aquarius. He does bring, so he'll be in Aquarius the next 20 years. We're getting like 20. A little taster. Yeah, his orbit is more of an oval, elliptical shape. So he actually spends
an
longer.
outer planet? He's further out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's and so that means he's very slow moving through the chart, where, you know, Mercury is a zippy little thing, Venus, Mars, like move so quickly because they're so much closer. So the further out you go, the slower they are. So Pluto's orbit's 248 years. So we don't live through a lot of Pluto transits, you know, and oftentimes when you have a Pluto transit, it's kind of once in a lifetime. So, you know, all these cardinal signs, that's kind of a once in a lifetime transit to have of Pluto. So he's moving into Aquarius. So the fixed signs, you know, so Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, there'll be areas of life, and it's not intense the whole time, right? It's not intense. There's not pressure the whole time. It really will depend on like where your sun is in those signs relative to the degrees. But you can expect over the next 20 years, if you have fixed signs in your chart, change, transformation, probably feelings or experiences of like a death and rebirth in some way. But that's huge. So that change, though, I think is going to be really viscerally felt as well, because we've had Pluto in Capricorn for so long, right? And part of what he's been doing in Capricorn collectively has been the transformation of like business, government, you know, like organizations, the world of trade and capitalism, money, finance, career, ambition, like all of those sorts of themes have been really big. So when he moves into Aquarius, Aquarius is more about progress, you know, taking what we achieve in Capricorn and then turning it into something that is has more of a collective benefit. We're likely to see a lot of things coming up with AI over the next 20 years. Aquarius is all about tech. And
I just got like the biggest shiver. Wow.
Yeah. And we've seen the alien thing starting, you know, like we can probably expect more of that. So we get a taste of it.
And when does that shift or that transit happen?
That's that's this month. Hang on, let me look at exactly what day it is. But we felt it. He's dipped in there last year for a little bit. He kind of
Why do they do that? Why do they dip in and then what's that about?
Because they retrograde. So he changes on the 22nd. So in a few days' time.
Goodness. Okay.
He'll dip into Aquarius. Yeah, so that's significant. But yeah, no, they retrograde because the astro chart is based on essentially the Earth in the center of the chart. But as we know, it's actually the sun that's the center of the solar system. So the planets from our perspective on Earth do appear at times to move backwards. And what that means is they're moving backwards through that zodiac neutrino stream. So if you were looking from the center of the sun, if you're looking at our solar system, they're still moving forwards, but it's all just based on our perspective.
Our perspective from here
and especially, and especially when you get to the outer planets, they retrograde for so long, like, so, you know, nearly half a year, the outer planets. So so that's a big one. So people can like pay attention to where you have Aquarius in your chart too, because that's likely to be an area where there could be, you know, there could be some pressure, there could be some intensity over that period of time, but there's likely to be big evolution, growth. And you know, Pluto in the mythology, I mentioned Pluto was is connected to Hades, and Hades was the lord of the underworld. He governed where all the souls, the departed souls went, right? But he technically ruled everything below the surface of the earth. So he was also the ruler of minerals and wealth and diamonds and things like that. So Pluto is also associated with that cultivation of inner wealth as well. But usually it's like a walking through the fire, you know, and or the pressure that creates diamonds, right? And you can almost expect, like, whatever you've been experiencing in that Aquarius area of life, there's going to be some kind of transformation. So it can almost go from one end of the spectrum to the other. You know, it's like you walk out with a whole different mindset, attitude, behavior, belief. And if anyone is an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising, or if you have planets in Aquarius, you're going to feel this more intensely than other people. But it's only really intense when Pluto gets like really close by degree to whatever that planet is, not for the whole 20 years, you know. So if your sun is at 22 degrees of Aquarius, you won't feel this for quite a while yet. Pluto's got to get all that way to 22 degrees.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
So that's the big one. Like, that's, you know, we feel like, I really feel this is like our initiation into the age of Aquarius too, which is that large, you know, we've been in the age of Pisces, that larger kind of epoch of time. And then the other big transit that I'm interested in this year is we have a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in Taurus. So you might feel this, Chloe. Depending on the degree of your sun in Taurus.
I'll have a look.
It's happening around 20, 21, 22 degrees. But collectively, Taurus is so much to do with resources, money, finance. And we've seen Uranus over the last few years kind of disrupting like food and banking industries. When Uranus and it's Jupiter and Uranus, and when they come together, Jupiter expands. So we can see things like big changes, pivots, unexpected. Also could be very much like a feeling of like a quantum leap in some way. And again, if you have planets, especially moon, rising, or sun in Taurus, you're probably going to feel it a little bit more intensely. So it could be a big feeling of like, again, like a, you know, especially if you're a Taurus sun, like a shift in identity in who I am. How do I want to shine my light? What am I doing? You know, the sun in the gene keys, and so I'm kind of jumping, but the sun in the gene keys is very descriptive of your life's work as well. So,
So do I look at where I don't look at where my sun is. What do I look at? I do.
Yeah, what degree? What degree?
13.
Okay, so you might not, someone who's sort of a little bit closer to 20 degrees is probably going to feel it. You probably feel like you've been through this over the last few years, though, when Uranus has been, and he's been retrograding back and forth over your sun.
Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can, sense that for sure.
But collectively, that's in April, you know, and it's interesting. March, April are a really interesting time because we have a Mercury retrograde. Then we go into eclipse season. Then we've got this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. It's like these three pretty significant things happening within like a 4 to 6 week period.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm just interested to watch what happens. But in the past, I did a bit of research on like things that have happened in the past with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. There's a fixed star there that's known for causing trouble, Algol. And so they could be like natural disasters and things like that, like earthquakes are quite common with this kind of placement. But yeah, disruptions to food and money, finance, banking.
So do we
start growing your own veg?
I don't know. Yeah, buy some gold. No.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Invest in diamonds.
So Amy, when you said before that you've done some research, so you've looked at what happened
previously. So that's what a lot of
time.
astrology is.
Yes.
Well, not last time they were together. So this is the thing. I actually don't know the last time they came together in this part, because we're always looking in this part of Taurus too, because it's, again, there's a fixed star there. So in these later degrees of Taurus. But knowing what they do when they're together and what they've done previously on their own, particularly Uranus being there. So Jupiter just kind of accentuates what Uranus is doing. Like Jupiter expands what he touches. So
with Jupiter, has it got it's got that luck component as well? Could it be? Yeah. Or not?
It could be, totally. So there could be a lot of opportunities and things like that as well.
Watch this space.
Yeah. So that'll be a big time collectively, though, I think next year, March, April.
Yes. This year or next year?
This year. Sorry. Sorry, I'm still in 2023.
You're still like, no, perfect. So in a couple of months,
this year.
We'll be looking at that. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other big transit, you know, if I'm thinking of the three biggest ones, it would be those two, Pluto and Aquarius, that Jupiter, Uranus, and then we have Saturn in Pisces. Yes. I think, you know, people who have strong mutable sign energy will really feel this. So Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, or Virgo. And particularly wherever Pisces is in your chart, this could be Saturn energy is interesting. Like Saturn energy, he slows and he cools, and he brings form and he brings boundaries, and he can bring what feels like some kind of restriction. But we've all had Neptune there for quite a while. And so that area of life wherever we have Pisces has likely felt quite nebulous, you know, and floaty and maybe a little bit ungrounded, and maybe it's just been a little bit confusing or hazy for some reason. And so Saturn coming in, I actually think could do a lot of good for a lot of us, even though there might be feelings of like, oh, this feels hard. This feels like a restriction. Ultimately, it's bringing in some kind of structure or boundary or form that will support that area of life. And again, we've already had a taster of this because Saturn did dip in there and then retrograde last year for a little bit as well.
So I look at Pisces. Is that what I want to look at? Where my Pisces?
And again, if you've got planets in Pisces, you'll feel it a little bit more intensely. So I have my moon in Pisces at 1 degree of Pisces, and this was my whole year last year. It was like these Saturn moon things.
So what if you've got nothing? Like I've got nothing in there.
There's still an opportunity because you still have Neptune there, and you'll still have Saturn. So there's still an opportunity to bring some kind of structure or boundary to something that's maybe felt a little bit more nebulous, but you won't feel it as intensely as if you had some kind of planet there.
Yeah, there. Okay. Wow. And when's that happening? Around about?
That's most of the year. Hold on.
Most of the year?
Yeah, these are all big transits. So he's there now, and then when does he leave?
I don't have any Pisces.
So, but your other mutable signs, you're likely to feel it too. So because you're Saggy, there'll be something with your moon. Yeah. So any planets in Sagittarius, Gemini, or Virgo will also likely feel it.
The gem.
Feel that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's in there until 2025. So this is like definitely a big thing for the year. And he'll retrograde, go back and forth, you know. So oftentimes with these outer planets, it's like they come through, you get like a taste of the lesson, and then they retrograde. So it's like, hang on, no, there's something you've missed. You need to kind of, we're going to revisit this and we're going to look at it a little bit more. And then they come back through and it's like, okay, now we can resolve it. But it's a long process. And especially Saturn, normally Saturn transits, it's where we want things to speed. It's like, oh, I want this. I want the action. I just want to do it. And Saturn's always saying, no, we need to slow. You need to take a disciplined approach. You can't rush this. So,
the structure. Yeah, boundaries.
Bringing something into form.
That's cool. I quite like that energy. It feels good.
Yeah,
I feel like
a Taurus,
I need that in my life.
I
feel like I've been like just like, whatever, take a bath, read my fairy smut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right. I need to take action, but in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah. And then the other big one would be the nodes too. The nodes in Aries and Libra.
And now the nodes are associated with the eclipses?
Yeah. So wherever the nodes are, that's the eclipses occur when the sun gets close to either the north node or the south node. So we've been eclipsed in Aries and Libra now for a little while, though. So that story won't be new. But in the September-October eclipses, I wrote it down, we have one of those eclipses in Pisces. So that's kind of starting to bring in a new area of change.
So then kind of next year, will it be then move into the Aries? It'll move into the next two signs that are opposite one another. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll transition into the Pisces-Virgo axis slowly.
Yeah.
So
that's right. So we had a bit, the last eclipse in October was the Aries Libra, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've dipped our toes in.
Yeah, it'll be nice when they get out of Aries, to be honest, because Chiron's been in Aries. So I think that's just added to a little bit of the intensity. You know, Chiron he's the wounded healer.
And so where is Chiron? So
he's an asteroid. Not everyone looks at him. He's an asteroid.
Okay.
Who most astrologers use, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like reading about him.
I do too. He's so great. I get very defensive of him because everyone focuses on him as the wounded healer, right, and really focusing on his death. But in the ancient mythology, he was actually the wise teacher that all the kings, the queens, and even the gods sent their children and the demigods to be educated. So he was the person who trained Hercules and Achilles, and he was a philosopher and a musician and a healer. And I love Chiron too.
Yeah.
Now, I've noticed that when you've been talking about the different planets, they're often made like he's. Are they all?
No, they're not all.
Okay.
But some are female, but it is, in astrology, they do use a masculine, feminine binary.
Yeah.
So and it's more I think this is quite a good way to look at how we all have masculine and feminine energy within us too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I've never thought of it like this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So certain planets are more feminine, certain planets are more masculine, and then all of the air and fire signs are considered masculine in astrology, and all of the earth and water signs are considered feminine. So like the moon's feminine, Venus. Venus is a feminine planet. Mercury is kind of non-binary, in my understanding. And then all the others, particularly the planets that are closer. The outer planets, we don't talk about it as much because they were only discovered since we had technology. You know, so it's the inner planets really up to Saturn that we've known about for thousands of years because we can see them with the naked eye. So them in particular are very masculine, feminine.
Yes.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah.
So
love it. So good. So good. Amazing. Just quickly on the eclipses, Amy, how do they impact us? I know they'll impact us personally different ways, but as a collective, I guess, what does that energy kind of bring about for us?
Yeah, the eclipses are so much connected to past and future. And so they activate, the nodes are. So the lunar nodes are connected to where we have been and where we're going. And then the eclipses come along every 6 months and create a level of tension and destabilization. And it's almost like they will kind of shake you to wake you up and be like, hey, you're not changing. We're going to force you to change in this way. And so usually they activate quite big catalytic events in our lives that usher us towards where we're meant to be going. So they're a helpful influence, but always in that eclipse window, like the 2 to 4 weeks between eclipses, it's always just really charged, you know, once you start paying attention to it, you'll notice. Every eclipse season I'm affirmed, no, I'm not crazy. This is actually a shit show right now.
Absolutely.
And people are unhinged. You know, there's so many people that are just feeling a lot and they don't understand why. You know?
And so that's already mapped out. So we could look up when all those eclipses are, put it in our diary, 2 weeks either side?
Yeah.
And be like, okay.
Yeah.
Just be, what would you say? Or do you, I know that it's also like personal, and then, you know, as females too, we've got our own menstrual cycle as well that, you know, we can live by. So it's, you know, I know that we're talking loftily with it, but during eclipse season, like as a general kind of rule of thumb, say, that's not quite the right wording, but what would you do, or would there be anything that you would avoid to do during that time, or anything that would be good for us?
Yeah, I tend to try to not have as much on my plate in eclipse season, so that I have a little bit more room to breathe if it's feeling really charged for me, because the eclipses can bring up really like physical symptoms too. Like a lot of people get headaches. You can feel like just not 100%. You can be a lot more tired in eclipse. And so I tend to just have more space. I always prioritize my menstrual cycle and my authority over the transits though, but usually I just don't want to launch new things during eclipse season anyway. And more just because even if I'm not feeling it, like even if it's an easier one for me, normally everyone around, you know, it's more in the collective, and they can be big things that happen. You know, I a few years ago was going to launch something in an eclipse season, and I was like, oh, I'll just do it. It'll be fine. And it was that 2020 when all the things happened, the terrible death of George Floyd, and then it kicked off all the focus on Black Lives Matter really came to the forefront. So I obviously didn't launch anyway. Like everyone was trying to be really respectful of that and giving space for that to be seen. And it was so affirming to me. I was like, okay, just don't plan things for these eclipse seasons, because you're just, you know, so I try not to. But what it can be good for is like, if you're putting like a podcast out or a book out, or if you're starting a new business, doing that in an eclipse season can be very auspicious.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just shown through the data. So I did a bit of research into stock trading astrology, like quite a few years ago. Got really into it, micro obsession. And I can't remember his name, but there's a whole book on it, and they had all these examples of companies that had particularly companies when they'd gone public. They'd gone public, that had their first trade in an eclipse season, and it just continually being a pretty big marker of success.
So books, podcasts.
Yeah. So putting something out like that. And like, because if you think a lot of humans are born with eclipse charts as well, right? It can be a really big indicator that they're here for like quite a big life too. There's something quite catalytic, you know, important that they're kind of here to do. So it's the same with, but you don't want to strategically do it. I think you want to like listen to your authority, you know, because otherwise we'll all launch businesses like on eclipses, and then everyone's will be infused with that energy, and then
So when are the eclipses for this year?
So
if we to mark our diaries.
Yes. So we have 24th of March to 8th of April.
Okay.
And then we have 17th of September to the 17th of October. That one later in the years, a little bit longer. And then you probably want to allow a week or two either side of those dates as well. But between those dates is the most intense.
Okay, so only 2 eclipses this year, because I feel like last year it was an eclipse every bloody second week.
Oh no, that's the season of it. So you have a few in a row, and then you have a 6-month break, and then you have a few in a row.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because you have
Yes.
Okay. A few in a row. Yep. Brilliant.
Just was thinking about one other thing. So like I know Hugh's sun's sign, my husband's sun sign, but not his other. Is it useful just to understand your partner? Like I'm just thinking I know yours, but I don't know it. So would it be worth, you know, Chloe and I working together on the pod and whatnot? Do you recommend, you know, getting into the astro of?
I think the human design component is probably important for the two of us too, working closely together. Do you reckon, Amy?
Yeah, well, the Astro Big Three, I think, can help knowing that about your people, especially like the moon sign. What's that driving force? But definitely energy type, authority, how you can support each other in that way is helpful too.
Like I've really just told Steph, I'm like, so, I'll have my rest cycles and I'm really good initiator and starter, but my finishing is pretty shit. So sometimes I need like a little kick up the ass.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I don't really like being told what to do, so then that's problematic as well.
Yeah. What's your energy type, Steph?
She's
or just Chloe?
Oh, man-gen. I'm a man-gen.
Oh, man-gen. Oh, okay, that's nice. Man-gen and a manifester.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So quickness makes sense.
Anything else that we need to know about, or is that a nice little wrap up for us?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Nothing else is coming to mind unless you guys have questions.
Oh, so much food for thought. So much food. The one question I did have is because over the last few weeks, Chloe and I have been chatting about, what's our word for the year and what's our intention and then what do we want to do? So if you had to, thinking about all of the different planetary movements and transits and all of that kind of stuff that's going on, if you had to have a word for the year from a astrological perspective, what would your word be?
That's really hard. Yeah.
They're always the harder ones.
It is, because it will still impact everyone so differently. But I think collectively, I would say change.
Yep.
An important word. Yeah.
Yes. Change with lightness, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully like a new direction. Yeah. And it's always the way that in American politics too, their elections always line up with the worst astrology. Like they do things on Mercury retrograde. I almost feel like someone's sabotaging, anyway, so it's their election year too. And I'm like, it affects the whole world. Affects all of us. And
it does. It impacts everyone, doesn't it?
Hopefully change.
Okay. Change.
Some way. Yeah.
Need some change. Great.
Some change.
Light change.
Awesome.
Love it.
That was so insightful. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you,
My
Amy.
pleasure.
Where can we find you? If our listeners want to reach out or find you, where's the best spot?
Thank you. So I'm mostly on Instagram, which is Amy Lea, lea.co. And then I have myconstellation.co as well.
Brilliant. And I can highly recommend as well Amy's amazing human design reports also.
Thank you.
I've just gone over mine again and there's just so much depth and insight and wisdom. It's just so cool. So
Thanks, honey.
Thank you for being you. You're the best.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Thank you.
Wow, how amazing was that? Just having the year unfold and seeing what the stars and planets and all of the luminaries will do for us.
In store for us, I've got some dates
Amy.
to put in my diary. Thanks, Amy.
Yes, absolutely. Do some planning around those transits. I love it. Love it so much.
Amazing. Now, if you liked what you heard, please feel free to, or please do share it with a friend or jump onto our Instagram. We are at the.selfishpodcast. We're thinking of doing a full moon circle in the future. So we'd love to, we're really this year going, well, how can we engage more with our beautiful community of listeners and what can we do and how can we bring you some of the stuff that we've been doing. So also looking into retreats and that kind of stuff. So if you've got any ideas or any thoughts around that, please do let us know. We always love to hear from you.
Yes. Or if you're thinking this will be good, let us know. Because we kind of need a bit of a kick up on our ass to kind of get things organised. So if there's something that is speaking to you, then just like DM us and just say yes.
Yeah, we always love your DMs. We love chatting to you guys in the messages. So.
We do. Yeah. All right, keep the chat going.
Bye.
All right, bye.